Hello and welcome to DDOcast, episode 283, recorded live on Sunday, May 19th, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online around 4 p.m. nearly every Sunday. You can join our live chat room through G+ Hangouts or from the website at DDOcast.com. Thanks to the mighty Cyber Ears for hosting our audio files. I'm your host, Siegfried Trent. With us is lovely producer and wife, Anne Trent. Hi, darling.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Yay, we're back. This time at a regularly-ish scheduled time instead of late or on Monday. Yay.
Mysteriously on time. And we also have, from DDOgamer.com, Jeff Hanna.
Almost never on time. Hello, DDO World. Nice to see you again. Welcome.
Mm-hmm. Well, on the podcast this week, we've got the usual assortment of gaming and community news and stuff about Gen Con and various chit-chat. So let's get started with the show. Game news, right up front, we've got some forum updates. Those are continuing. I got a bunch of stuff to read here. It may be just a little on the dull side, but I thought, we want to keep people informed about what's going on, and especially if you're having trouble with the forums, you might not have been able to log in to see this stuff. So, anyway, if you had an existing forum name, but the site didn't hook you up or prompted you to pick a different name, you should be all set. Log in normally with the name already associated and will already be associated to you. If you already picked a throwaway or temporary name, your original name will already be hooked up for you when you log in. If you hadn't gotten past the initial login process, you should now be able to progress, barring any of the known issues that will be fixed in the next week's update patch, as see details below. Special note, if after this morning's maintenance the site still asks you to pick a different name, you are one of the edge cases that Turbine will need to do more to help. So please submit a support ticket with the subject line, need final mitigation step. So need final migration step, so Turbine can compare your forum account against our list o' helping. I guess they have a list o' helping. Turbine is aware of a smaller subset of users who, for a variety of outlying reasons, didn't get caught with our code fix. We are working on these by hand now, and the number is down to a manageable level. If you happen to be in this state, you can use the subject line, need final migration step. If you already have a ticket with us, you do not need to resubmit in order to receive help, and Turbine will be sending out an email shortly to update you. Here's where Turbine stands with the latest fixes and updates for the website or forum. First off, Turbine has identified an issue that caused existing forum names to get into a bad state, either where it didn't correctly associate with your original forum name or it was misidentified by country of the accounts that were migrated, causing strange errors during initial sign-in. Due to the volume of names impacted, we're deploying a code-level fix tomorrow, Monday, May 15th at 10 a.m., to properly associate the impacted forum name. Second, even if your forum account migrated properly, we've identified some UI issues that can trigger a login error. Turbine has pulled these errors together to be fixed in a website patch. Fortunately, many of these login errors can be worked out until our fixes are deployed using the following methods. So these are kind of workarounds. For players with strange forum names, state tomorrow's maintenance will resolve the issue of being decoupled from your original name. However, note that there are a couple of web UI issues that may still trigger a login error since the website UI fixes will be rolling next week. So these workarounds can help you as well until that point. Note, before attempting any of these workarounds, please note that it is very important to save your My Account profile, even if all the information in the profile looks correct at a glance, as this causes the system to reconcile. Just don't view your My Account profile, then close it when everything looks okay. Save the profile. There is an error where the site does not offer the full country list for players. This has been causing issues that manifest as a timeout for an authentication error when you first try to log in. In some cases, you can work around this by temporarily setting the country in your myaccount.turbine.com profile to US or Canada, logging into the site, and then changing your country back to its correct one afterwards. This is particularly true in cases where your country is showing as select country in your My Account profile. If you never had a country selected in My Account before the site migration, this UI error will clear up with the next week's patch. To fix the issue with exceedingly long passwords, they plan on preventing a player from making passwords longer than 16 characters. So in the meantime, to ensure your password is only between 6 and 16 characters in length, that should help you out. If you attempt to log in after maintenance but are prompted to select a display name, this means that your existing forum name still needs a little extra help from Turbine to migrate. You may go ahead and select a temporary name, such as name2, to post with until Turbine hand fixes you. The maintenance took care of the bulk of the impacted forum names, allowing Turbine to more quickly assist any stragglers. Posts made under the temporary name will be available in the forums, but won't be accessible by your correct original forum name. Other web things. Some players have been getting a maintenance page for all DDO sites. Turbine so far has found this to be happening for players who had modified their host file on their computer back during previous DNS issues with our sites. Turbine recommended that players comment out such changes and perform an ipconfig flush DNS along with rebooting the computer in order to correct the issue. We'll try to get the word out to as many players via support tickets and social media, but please feel free to tell friends you know if a friend who may have modified their host file at some point is getting stuck while Turbine maintenance page. Turbine received a few reports of an error message that claimed the password matched the forum name, was therefore invalid, even though it was not the same. Turbine has identified what was throwing the false positive and will be making adjustments to the web patch in order to fix it. Turbine has removed several white-on-white and white-on-yellow styling issues, but the web folks are looking to redo the styling options entirely to eliminate lingering alignment and font issues that aren't playing nice, aiming for a more black plus dark gray rather than the brownish gray. Turbine will likely relegate the current gray scheme styles as an option style choice for those who like it. The web team will be configuring a stretchy, aka liquid format as well, though it may come after the basic style changes are implemented. The return of the dev tracker is imminent. Yay! We have identified the issue with the rep system. Positive rep will be back after the web patch. And finally, if you have any tickets in already, you do not need to resubmit them in order to get action, as Turbine will be sending back notifications once they've completed their work. So, that's all of that.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I think I lost consciousness there for a minute.
Well, like I said, kind of, just in case people are having trouble. They wouldn't be able to get onto the forum to see that stuff, so I figured I would share it, especially, the workarounds. Although I can't say they're super easy to follow. The show notes will have that stuff in there, so you can get a more detailed version of it if you like. Okay, on with the show. New in-game bug reporting tool is currently broken, so you can't file a bug report on the bug reporting tool that is broken. Anyway, while they work to get this fixed, you can use your web browser to access the bug reporting tool. Put a link in the show notes. Basically, it's ddobugs.turbine.com/ics/support. Oh, and then some more stuff. So anyway, we'll have a link in the show notes. DDO referral tool is not working. No lime jello cubes for you at the moment. The DDO referral system is being revamped and migrated to DDO.com. Please note that if you currently have an active referrals, you will continue to accrue bonus points from your existing referrals, but you will be unable to redeem bonus points from your referral wallet to add new referrals until the new front end of the referral system is launched on DDO.com. Stay tuned for announcements once the new URL is available. I guess the thing's working well enough that they're going to migrate and maintain it, so that's cool. I know we got our Jello cube for kind of being cheesy, but hey, what are you going to do? See, premium DDO services are on hold. Premium services include Game Guild renames, including Game Guild renames, are not currently being offered by account support folks, but it is something that we're hoping to be able to restore soon. With these services, once available again, we will be sure to let folks know. And you'll hear it here on DDOcast. Finally, store news for the week. 40 Turbine points off of all hirelings. Use coupon code HIRE011. Well, okay, maybe there needs to be a space. Okay, I think it's HIRE01, one per account. Basically, 40 Turbines points off a hireling, I think, is generally a free hireling. I think. I don't know how much they all cost, but should amount to that.
Basically, yes. Yes,
yeah, I think they did it that way because they wanted to make any given hireling free, and that would be a whole lot of code, so they just came up with this discount code. So it'd be cool. 20% off of select creature companions, treats and gear, May 17th through 22nd. And there are hints from Quartermaster X on new Shadowfell Conspiracy expansion pack stuff. He says, "I think you will all be pleased with the contents of the pre-order bundles." so I don't know that he talks like that, but we're imagining here. So
Does that really count as a hint?
yeah,
Okay,
I don't think it
well,
does.
all right.
To me, but hint: we think you're going to like what we're selling you. Yeah, well, yeah, I hope so.
It just says that they're going to have pre-order bundles. Hey.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true.
There you go. That's a hint.
So, I mean, like, you didn't know that there were going to be bundles before.
He came out on the forum and specified that it will. Somebody complained that in the last expansion pack, it was bundles of a bunch of packs that everybody already had. And he said, we are not going to do that this time.
Oh, cool.
So there's a hint as to what is not going to be in it.
Right, well, yeah, that's nice. I mean, yeah, I don't remember exactly what they were last time, but yeah, we just bought the big one because we wanted the goodies. They were well worthwhile. The experience tomes and all that kind of stuff are awesome, so happy to get more of that kind of action. Cool. All right, let's see. That's all the game news. There wasn't a lot, and once again, there's no dev tracker right now, so it's a little hard to pin down the kind of more ancillary items. You just get the major announcements. Also on the forum page where it has the little announcements thing, it doesn't seem to update. But if you go to the actual announcements thing on the website, then you can see the announcements. So still working out the bugs on that. See, DDOcast. Yeah?
On Lamania, they added a new update that put up a new launcher last week.
Yeah.
And then this week they added a new update that took down the new launcher, and otherwise, as far as I could tell, had no changes at all.
Yeah, there's not much. I mean, there's like a new. If you log into Lamania, there was a new backsplash. Like a coming soon to advertise the Shadowfell conspiracy, and the UI on the launcher looked a little bit different last time I was in there. But other than that, not so much.
Yeah, the splash screen looked very roguey.
Yeah, very Forgotten Realms, and to me it looked like a tiefling on there. But I don't think that's a tiefling. I think that's supposed to be one of the Shadowfell people. They apparently have tattoos and stuff, so I think that's what.
Well, they're like that.
Yeah, sneaky folk in the Shadow Realm. Yeah, DDOcast news this week. We got to look at Update 18. Of course, you can too if you go out to Lamania. It's not too hard. You can run the 2 new quests, and we've done that. We went and had some fun. But producer Glenn and Amanda, a.k.a. Tolero, invited us to go on a press tour, kind of like they do for the other press organizations, to look at all the stuff in the update. And, gave us some information that we cannot yet disclose. But around Wednesday, the 22nd, we'll be able to do that, and we'll put up our tour as a video for folks to watch. It's pretty cool. There's neat stuff to see. Recommend checking it out. We definitely had a good time, and big thanks to Turbine for showing us around in there. I will say that it's pretty clear that this update is pretty small. There's not a whole lot there. It's kind of a taste of what's to come for the expansion, you might say. A shadow appetizer, if you will. But we had a good time with it, and there are some really kind of fun little things in there. I like the Bladeforge thing a lot, and there's some cool owlbear action, so worth checking out. You can see some owlbears in our screenshot for the show this week, so if you're just listening, you can head over to DDOcast.com and see that. Who? Yeah, you'll even be able to hear the owlbear, I think, in some of the video. I'm not sure. If you want to, you can go on Lamania, too, and there is an owlbear in one of the quests that you fight, and it makes a lot of noise. It doesn't sound like that, though.
Oh, darn.
It's kind of like half the time it's growling and half the time it's screeing like a hawk. It's like, scree! And then, so it just sort of alternates those things. Gen Con registration is open. If you want to go, if you're going to Gen Con and you want to see DDOcast live at the show on Friday at 4 p.m., you can do that now. Registration is open, just open today. So head on over to the Gen Con site, click on registration. You'll need to log in, and then you can just search for DDOcast by title or keyword, and it'll come up. At the moment, last I checked, there are 35 tickets remaining, so still space. A lot of things on Gen Con sell out instantly. But that means 15 people are coming. Woohoo! So that's pretty cool, at least, and hopefully more to come. So if we sell it out, I will be slightly amazed, but very pleased. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Hey, there's a picture of the Gen Con site. You want to feed that directly in there?
Not just any picture of the Gen.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not just any picture of the Gen Con site. It's us.
Cool.
We are in the Gen Con catalog.
Excellent. Yes. Well, I think that'll be a lot of fun.
I mentioned this before the show, but
go ahead.
My 18-year-old self would be so excited by the fact that I'm hosting an event at Gen Con. At Gen Con, my 18-year-old self would be very jealous of me right now.
Well, hopefully we'll keep your 18-year-old self very entertained when we actually do the thing. See, now here's the thing. I have to start planning. I got to get the show ready and figure out what we're going to do and all that good stuff. I got a bunch of cool suggestions from people, so I'm going to scour over those, and we'll put some stuff together, and hopefully it'll be fun.
Yeah, no pressure or anything. It just has to be awesome.
Pressure. That's all.
The question is awesome by what standard?
We'll have a good time, right? I hope so. I like to think I used to throw great parties when I was a teenager, so I'll bring some of that action. We'll do some fun stuff, and we'll be giving away junk and things like that. So it'll be a fun party. All right. What else? Also, DDOcast is going to be sorta, in 2 shows at Gen Con. We're going to be doing our live event. Of course, we'll be at the unofficial DDO party later on that evening as well, but we're not really hosting that. But we are going to be in the World's Worst Dungeon thing as well, and it should be pretty cool. It's put on by a guy named Bill Cavalier, a.k.a. the Dungeon Bastard, and it is the world's worst dungeon crawl, the flaming death pits of the Minotaur Mage, descent into Doomfire. And it was inspired by a letter Anne wrote to the Dungeon Bastard called Ask the Bastard, looking for advice on how to get me to Game Master more often. So I guess this inspired him with the idea that the best way to get me to Dungeon Master was to run a really, really bad dungeon where I would crawl out of my skin and demand that I get a chance to do better or something like that. So he kind of changed the focus, and now it's really just the worst dungeon crawl ever is the idea for the event. But since Anne inspired it, he's letting us play in it, so that's a pretty cool deal. Normally you have to pay, I think you had to cough up, I'm not sure, $350 to guarantee a seat in it on the Kickstarter, something like that. So that's pretty cool. It's sold out. It's sold out pretty much instantly, I guess. But there'll be a video of it, and you can actually get the adventure module, stuff like that. So pretty neat stuff. And I'm really excited about it.
So I noticed one of them was called, one of the levels that you could buy under the Kickstarter was something called a dice fluffer. Is that correct?
Oh, well, one of the people will be randomly selected amongst levels of participation to be the dice fluffer. And I guess there's a house rule where each player is entitled to 1 reroll per game, but the dice fluffer is the one who actually rolls it. And also the dice fluffer holds the Dungeon Master's dice bag. So it should be very silly and quite a bit of fun, I think.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to let someone else touch my dice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess it's a risk, because if you get 1 reroll and it's done by the dice fluffer, it has to be a pretty good roll.
Pretty critical.
Keep the dice warm at any rate.
Yeah, it should be, I don't know.
Fluffed.
Fluffed.
Ready at any moment. There you go.
That's right. That's what that means. I've never been a superstitious person about my dice. I know some people that are kind of like that, and they, I've even met people who get angry when you touch their dice. I have met those gamers before. There's some very strange folk. Me, I've got, I just bring 1 set of dice. It's whichever one I picked up. I do have a lot of dice, but I don't have my favorites or lucky dice or anything. I just grab stuff. I do have the one that lights up when you roll a 20, which is really cool, but I don't know. Or have the dice that are more lucky than I just grab dice, whatever. And sometimes even I use electronic dice on my iPhone, which I think gaming-wise is
that's a terrible. That's a serious party foul right there. I used to have a pair of dice for years that I was convinced allowed me to roll above average. I even named them, and then I took them to Gen Con the first time I went. After I was 35, so I'd been waiting a while to go to Gen Con. I finally went. I get there with my hot dice, and they totally sucked the whole weekend. They got nothing. So they went into the plastic box with all the others that were getting rounded off over time. That was the end of that.
Yeah. It broke under the clutch.
That was it.
Yeah, I've never really had those kind of deals, but I do own a lot of dice. I like to collect them. I have a lot of weird novelty dice with dinosaurs on them, or letters instead of numbers, and poker faces, and all kinds of really bizarre things. I even have a D10,000, I think. Right, so there's a 1, the 10s, a 100s, a 1000s, and a 10,000s place dice.
So yeah, 5 dice.
Boom. Bring
My
me the
favorite are
table.
the teddy bear dice. We have a set of teddy bear dice.
Oh yeah, teddy bear.
Basically, you roll it, and you can land teddy bear.
Have you guys ever played Dragon Dice? Because, I mean, dice are intrinsically cool. Obviously, you agree, if you're collecting the odd ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So-
no, and I played some Dragon Dice.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Good time.
And I there was a Star Trek Next Generation dice game as well. I have that. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
So-
kinda cool.
Dragon Dice is coming out with a new game where it'll be a board game that you play with their dice.
Oh, neat.
And, yeah, I am really looking forward to it.
Is that something Wizards doing, or is somebody who bought the Dragon Dice license?
No,
or something?
a company bought the Dragon Dice from Wizards way back right after the TSR Wizards split called SFR, and they're still producing it.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize
And
that.
they're coming out with this new board game based thing called Dragon Dice Campaigns. I play tested it at Gen Con a couple of years ago. It's fun.
Oh, cool.
And they have they have a presence at Gen Con too. So if you're looking to kill some time, they're always running demos on the merchanting floor, and they always have a table going in the gaming area. So anyway, enough of a free ad for Dragon Dice, but it's a fun game. Check it out.
Yeah.
Well, I
sounds
hear
cool.
they have like an online version of Dragon Dice as well. Is that true? Have you played that?
Well, there's a trainer kind of thing where you can, anal compulsively track every dice you have and then pretend roll them and stuff. But I'm not aware of a way to have any fun playing Dragon Dice online. So maybe that's a more accurate way to put it.
Let's see. Well, speaking of fun, what's been going on DDO Gamer this week?
Been another good week. A couple of kind of rather innocuous stories, and then one that just sent views through the roof. So I guess I have to write about this like every other day now. But one of the first things I wrote about was it was by an accident. Last week, I was just playing around with Fly because I really enjoy doing that, and I really think that Turbine ought to let Fly loose in the public areas and let us just go. Let us fly. And I think they ought to do it in the adventure zones too. Let us just fly, and if we get to places where we shouldn't, well, so what? I mean, the emphasis isn't on the heroic levels anymore anyway. So, and if we get stuck, well, we have the /stuck command, and we can use it ourselves. So let us just go fly. Anyway, in the process of having fun with that, I was running around Reaver's Refuge, and I went into somewhere that I don't recall having been before. And I found something I don't recall having seen before. So if you're in Reaver's Refuge and you're flying down towards the doorway where the mailbox and the altars are, if instead you stay up and to the left, there's a screened entry with green plants hanging down on it. And if you go in there, there's like a sort of a kobold little clan. And there's a big dude, and a couple of babies, little tiny kobolds, one's asleep. And the dude is telling them stories. And the story is all of the lore about Zendrick and the prophecy and the Storm Reaver. And it's very complete. It takes him it felt like 10 minutes for him to get through it all because, a line will appear on the screen and it'll stay there for 10, 15 seconds. And then another one, and he's got really a lot of dialogue. And meanwhile, the little baby kobold just kind of, looks over at you and looks at him and looks at you. Anyway, I just thought, what a cool little surprise thing. I mean, totally not related to any part of the game. Just somebody just put it off in the corner on the off chance somebody might find it, and I did, and I enjoyed it. So
Neat.
I like the fact that I can play this game 7 years and still be surprised by little touches.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I had somebody scrolled that away in there, and yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So, speaking of little touches, I also wrote about, it took me a while to get this set up, but now that I have a succubus that I can summon, that means I can set up succubus versus dryad. Dun, 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 dun.
Sounds like a
His
pay-per-view
wet
special.
T-shirts.
Oh, I totally should have charged for this. So,
Yes, wet T-shirts. Everybody around. One for the dryad, one for the succubus. Go.
okay, well, now, in all fairness, I took a much more academic approach to it, and what I did is I counted the mammals that were on the screen, and I came up with 0. And then I counted the mammaries, and I came up with way more than 0. So I started speculating as to how that might be. So anyway, it's just a couple of good screenshots. They came out pretty well. They're interesting. They're interesting creatures. Yes, there's the female form. I'm in favor of that. I'm all in favor. Yay. And the commenters were coming up with some interesting male gaze, female gaze comments. Nothing heavy duty. This isn't Slate. This is DDO Gamer. So, but it was kind of a fun thing. Interesting pictures. And and it gave me an excuse to put the word boobies in my column, so I did.
There you go.
Okay, but that wasn't the thing that got all the page views. You would think, oh, that's what Jeff stumbled into. No. I ranted a little bit about Neverwinter. So, I'd done some research prior to this and written it up, but it was just looking at their website and noticing things like, the $200 starter pack and stuff. But this time, all of the tweeter people that are in the DDO tweeting kind of universe are running around playing it. And finally, I just said, I'll just try it myself. So I went ahead and I created an account. I logged in. I played 4 different characters up to about 5th level. I played for about 4 hours. Not enough for an in-depth review, but enough to identify some things that annoyed me. And I wrote them down. And apparently the fact that I was willing to write down things that annoyed me after only 4 hours of playing the game really annoyed some people. So I guess I'm not allowed to have an opinion until I have at least a 30th level character. I don't know. So all I can say is, look, if you're playing a game for 4 hours and you can't already tell whether or not this is a game that you like or it's going to annoy you, you need to work on your discernment. You need a judgment upgrade.
Yeah.
So, and it's not even that I don't like the game. I don't want to be going off on Neverwinter. It was fine. In fact, if you mind, I don't know how much time we have, but
yeah, you can talk about it.
All right. So the first thing that bothered me, and again, this is 4 hours in, okay, but there were no choices. There just weren't. You can choose a race and a class, but it didn't seem to matter much. As you gain levels, you don't choose anything. You just grow new abilities. They're the same. Now, I know that when you get higher level, there's going to be a few more choices. For one thing, you only have a few spots available on your hotbar, so you're going to have to choose what goes on there. I don't consider that to be really a character customization choice. I consider that to be dealing with limits in the UI. But so I wasn't. There was no choices. The next one is probably the least fair one of all, and I said there was no challenge. Well, okay, I played the introductory quests, right? I mean, there's not supposed to be a ton of challenge. But I never even felt. I mean, like I say, 3 different characters, not 4, 3 different characters. Playing without having any idea how to go about doing it, and I never one time, even when completely surrounded, felt like I ought to try and take a potion. There was no doubt I was going to win. But those were the introductory quests. On the other hand, you can die on Korthos Island very easily. I didn't feel like I could die here. I would have to really try. I'd have to do it on purpose, or go AFK.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure that would work. There was no attempt to play, in my mind, there wasn't much attempt to play by the D&D rules. My 5th level character had thousands of hit points, and the potions of healing did 1,000 points each.
Yeah,
yeah. And my spells, like I ran a caster, and they had D&D names on the spells, but they weren't D&D spell effects. They were. It's a D&D skin, but the game isn't D&D. So, but it's got a skin of D&D. Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely my impression as well from that part of it. There wasn't very much that felt like D&D rules. The character classes are D&D character classes in the sense that you have a fighter and a wizard and a rogue and that sort of thing.
Right.
But then again, you find that in almost any fantasy game.
Well, right.
I found the lore. I mean, the lore they have for Neverwinter and the setting is pretty strong, and that feels very D&D-ish. But the game mechanics, not so much.
Yes, everything except actually playing the game seemed pretty D&D. Now, if I hadn't have been spoiled by DDO, which I feel I complained about how they scoffed at the rules, but wow, now that I've seen what really scoffing at the rules looks like, I realize that DDO is a pretty faithful representation of the 3.5 rule set. Mm-hmm. And so if I hadn't had that first, maybe I would have fallen in love with this. Maybe I would have said, hey, this is D&D. I love D&D. Here it is online. Let's play that. Another thing I didn't like is I didn't feel there was much definition. Yes, the classes have different names and do different things, but you basically play all of the characters the same way. They don't really do much. It's all that. Again, I guess in higher levels that's probably going to change. And but play a cleric or play a fighter or play a rogue. It didn't seem to matter much. The game made my left hand cramp because it's all WASD, and mouse click. WASD and mouse look, and that's a big first-person shooter rig setup. I mean, that's real common, but I've never mastered it. I'm keyboard only, so that was real hard for me. It might be that I could remap my keys, and I just didn't play long enough to figure out how. And if so, okay, bad on me. The buttoning works differently, and it's not just that it's different buttons. I mean, I've played other games. I've played Lotro, I've played Rifts, Conan, Star Wars. All of these guys have different buttons. It's just like it's like the way buttons work is different. Not just that they're different buttons, they just work different. It's hard to explain, but it's a bigger mental shift than other games where they've had different buttons that do different things. And the thing that, and I didn't come up with these words until I'd already posted the article, but the thing that annoyed me most, I think, is really kind of an uncanny valley effect. Because an uncanny valley means it's often applied to robotics, and the concept is that the more lifelike robots become, the more human they look, the more they annoy us. You know, and if they look like TVs, they don't bother us. But when we start to make them like human, it annoys people. It makes us uncomfortable. And that valley between humanoid appearance and actual humanity, the closer they get, the more annoying they are. That's the theory. And I think that applies to me for this game, because it's very close to being a good D&D game. It's very close to DDO in many ways. Massively says they have more in common than they have different, and I agree. So it's close, but it's not close enough, and that difference just annoys me.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Right. So it's, close to being DDO, but it's just not quite there. And of course, it has all these people that really ought to be over here playing our game and making my gaming experience better. And that just annoyed the heck out of me too, because there's tons of people over there. So anyway, that was my Neverwinter experience. It generated quite a variety of responses. Including the downvotes, which I don't get a lot of downvotes, but oh yeah, downvotes.
Game Wars.
So I know you've already expressed your opinion. Again, this wasn't intended to be a review, and in fact, I linked to 5 different reviews from DDO writers who have actually reviewed the game. And if the game interests you, I really suggest you go read one of their reviews. They're much more explanatory and unbalanced. I was just whining, and that's what happened on DDO Gamer this week.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's a free game, so you can download it and try it. That's the best way to figure out if you like the thing or not. And yeah, like I said, I kind of liked it, and I thought it was pretty cool, but I haven't been compelled to go back and play. Something about the lack of character creation coupled with the way the characters look just didn't draw me in, even though the world is kind of pretty, and I did like the environments, but I didn't feel a connection to my character, I guess, and that's kind of the main thing that works for me in a role-playing game.
I was a really big fan of the tactical crunchiness of Neverwinter Nights and Neverwinter Nights 2 and then Icewind Dale and Baldur's Gate series. And when they didn't follow through with that, it kind of royally pissed me off. And so I think I was setting myself up to not like it. So, but I mean, it's definitely 4E. And if you don't like 4E, then you're not going to like this. So, but yeah, it's free. You should try it. What's the harm? Figure it out for yourself. You don't have to listen to other people, But
right,
whatever. Absolutely.
Right. So I'm showing my halfling now. Basically, this is the first character I make in most games, the halfling commando. She wasn't very commando-like. She's pretty rogue-like. On the other hand, she teleports around like Nightcrawler. So I have no idea what D&D version that's from. I think that's from D&D. What the? WTF?
There is a lot of teleporting in 4th edition.
It's a lot of teleporting.
For instance. I don't know that halflings can teleport, but
no, it actually depends on the class. They've made some new classes on the expansion sets for 4th edition that allow you to teleport. So
yeah, I feel like a shadow
behind somebody and kick him in the head. Because that's what she does. She teleports behind him and smacks him in the back of the head, which is handy, but
yeah, probably at higher level there's some abilities like that. I don't know, 4th edition does have a lot of that. Although, Anne said it's like 4th edition. I would say, stylistically, it definitely follows along more in that mold, but the rules are nothing like it. As you said, the hit point numbers and the damage numbers and the attributes on your character and stuff they may look kind of similar on the surface, but under the hood, it just appears to be some more generic MMO combat system. I don't know exactly what, but it's different. Very different. All right, so let's talk about DDO, what we've been doing this week. I don't know, let's start with you this time, Jeff. What you been doing?
Oh, I capped my 6th life TR.
Oh, wow.
So she's
cool.
Almost halfway to completionist. She finished her dexterity-based cleric life. And I have to tell you that her deck, she was maximized dex, high wisdom, high charisma, not a lot of strength, but some, constitution where I could a complete dump on what's left. What was left? I don't think anything. But she was a very effective character. Once I figured out that Divine Might can stay on pretty much all the time, because this character was designed to have Radiant Servant and as many boosts as possible, bursts as possible, so she could, go stick her nose into the fight and just, constantly be healing everybody a little at a time and throwing out non-spell point based and non-interruptible healing bursts. But that also meant that she could keep Divine Might up for pretty much every fight, and that added to her ability to do damage. So her DPS was never great, but it was adequate. Her survivability was outstanding. This is definitely an awesome solo build. She's got evasion. She can get through a lot of things where you wouldn't expect a cleric to get through, and I enjoyed playing her a lot. I don't know that I would recommend this build for somebody who's then going to go into Epic Destinies and make this their main, but it was an awesome way to get through your cleric life on your completionist path.
So what's would you say the toughest quest that you did with her that went pretty smoothly?
We did everything up to 17 on Elite. We didn't have to go over 17. I ran out of needing XP somewhere in the middle of the 17s. The only time we had trouble was Sane Asylum with Nurse Ratchet, because her just regeneration on Elite is just insane. And my gamer girl was running a druid that didn't really have an ability to damage her very much because she was cold based, and so is Nurse Ratchet. And we had some problems with the automatic fire of light spells in Running with the Devils.
Oh yeah, those are
other than that, everything went smooth.
Yeah, cool.
So maybe it's the combination of the fact that I was generally with a druid at the same time. But wow, it was just we rolled the game up. It was incredible.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Well, you're much faster at TRing because my gaming story is also about TRing, and my comment is almost there, just a little longer. Yeah. So I've got half a bar left, and it's only my third life. I think it took me about a year. I started this character around when the last expansion came out, so shows you how fast I play. But almost there, real close. We should probably tick over sometime in the week. Now, I was actually thinking of holding off on doing the TR until they made whatever announcements they're going to make about True Reincarnation for the expansion. They've been mumbling that something's going to change, or they're going to do something, so Epic Destinies, and TRing and something. So I don't know what, but I was thinking maybe I'll just sit on that until that happens and I see which way the wind blows, but I'm not sure. I'm kind of eager to get on to my next life, pick a new, style for the character and have fun with that. But I don't know.
What is your next life?
I don't know. I never really decide until the time comes, and then I kind of make a plan. And I'm going to have evasion. I'm absolutely certain about that because there were too many quests that we were going to do, and it's like, well, we don't have evasion, and so that particular encounters, like Enter the Kobold. It's like, well, no evasion. The final Enter the Kobold's awfully hard without it. Yeah, that sort of thing. So I'll have evasion. Whatever I do, probably that. Kind of lean in towards monk rogue kind of a thing, so I'd probably have monk life. I'm not sure. We'll see. Also depends on what Anne wants to do. I usually do something complementary to her, so
fair enough.
Tends to work out. And that's about it for me. That's all I've been working on in DDO itself. How about you, darling?
Yeah, I am 73k away from level 20 on my TR. Yay. And like you, it's taken me a year to get there. And this is I think only her second life? Her second TR life?
Yeah, this is number 2 for both of us.
Yeah, it's number 2. It's like, wow.
And frankly, for me, it's a little bit too many XP. I don't like grinding out that much.
It's way too much. But it's taken me there. I haven't decided what I really want to do. I want to wait for the Shadowfell X-Pack to come out before doing it. I'm leaning towards something more monk, but I'm not quite sure. I think I want to do a Warforged monk, and then try to some sort of mix, try to boost up the healing app so crazy such that a healer will heal me and say, wow, I was expecting not being able to heal you like for 5,000k or something.
That would be
just to make a big surprise for them, you know. Yeah, just something like that. And then on my Wednesday group, we went through Tear of Dracan. I love that quest. For a level 7 quest, I play it over and over again, and man, it's just really fun to run as a group. So, really,
nice.
really good. So, but that's about it. Yeah. Yay, my life has been pretty much focused on other things that I hopefully, maybe after DDOcast, I can cap out my TR. So, yay.
Cool. Let's see. Community news. We got going on here. Shamgar has a new building blocks for everybody. He has finished his series on ability scores, and now he is looking at alignments. So building blocks number 32 is going to give you an overview of alignment in general, and then 33 takes a look at law versus chaos and covers those two alignments, lawful and chaotic. So looking pretty cool. And yeah, they're nice. They're just the right reading size, 6-7 paragraphs, give you the basic information, a couple things you didn't know. Pretty cool stuff. And might I say, I am a big fan of D&D alignment. So I was in a meeting at work, and I mentioned the difference between lawful good and neutral good during the meeting, and then somebody else claimed to be true neutral. So not just for games, useful in the workplace as well. DDO Cocktail Hour has a new episode 66, Got Glitter, and it's got music, chickens, dreaming dark, crafting talk, not to mention the sweet tang of decay in convenient travel size. So check out DDO Cocktail Hour. Pretty easy to find it. And they've got a funny little graphic, once again, for their product of the week, which is Tang of Decay. I believe it's Dryden's Tang of Decay. It's very cute stuff. So I haven't listened to the episode yet, but it looks like fun. And I will be listening soon, probably next time we fire up DDO. And I'll give them a listen while I'm playing. Maybe I'll even TR while listening to Cocktail Hour. That'd be pretty cool. DDO Chronicle is back this week, and in its new format on the website. I found it by going to the announcements page and then clicking through to it. So, also, I believe all their social network stuff has a feed to it. So, those are good ways to find it. Anyway, Fred has put together an artistic interpretation of Delira's Graveyard for his guild. Yeah, it's kind of one of those guild splash pages, and that looks pretty cool. It's kind of a neat computerized version of Delira's Graveyard. Riz, a.k.a. Scott, has his alignment slot generator, and they give that a shout-out, which is cool. Hosted on our webpage. Chronicle comment for the week. If you could open a store in Evening Star, what would you sell and why? Well, you guys are thinking, what would I sell and why? I would sell boxes of greed, because apparently they're very popular, and I would do that because I would make lots of money that way. Yeah, that's the ticket. How about you, Anne?
Oh, I don't know, lingerie shop. Because, you know what? Because, you just need a little, something fun. Nightlife. You can't be questing all the time. You need to relax.
After a hot night of sweating in the dungeon, I like to reach for Anne's lingerie.
Well, I think there is already a lingerie shop. They call them armor kits.
Yeah, there are a couple of those, aren't there? How about you, Jeff?
Medicinal dirty kobold.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's it. A medicinal dirty kobold shop. I put a green cross out front. Gonna have to bring in a prescription, and then I'll take care of it. Got a variety of different types of dirty kobold. You're gonna have to, pain relieving. It's all purely medicinal. That's all I have to say.
All natural. What else we got in the Chronicle? Long shot. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sweet.
I was wondering, do you need a medical license in order to do that?
No.
Not if you visit Anne's lingerie shop first.
That's right. You need a medicinal license. It's not the same thing. You can write your own.
Anyway. Yeah. All right. Where were we? Yeah, Chronicle. Longshot interviews a player named Wolfie from the Sacred Flame Guardians on Sarlona. Quite a long interview. It goes on for many, many pages, but it looked pretty interesting. I didn't read the whole thing because I was making the show notes, and Anne's like, "Get back to making show notes." I'm like, "Oh, right." But it's pretty cool. It's kind of one man's journey through gaming, and I did enjoy reading the parts of it that I read, so I'll probably go back and finish that a little bit later.
Yep, I read that out. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was just a neat interview. Very detailed.
If you're having trouble finding, you guys know about the temporary dev tracker, right?
I do not know.
Somebody named Krelar version 2, which I could spell out, but I'm not going to, created a thread, and what he basically did is put a link to all of the devs' personal pages. Mm-hmm. So if you click on the dev name, it'll show you where they've posted recently. And he put all of this in one big post, and apparently Tolero or Codovan think that's a good idea because they stickied it. So if you go to the general DDO discussion, the very first top sticky is temporary dev tracker, and it makes it a little bit easier to keep track of these kind of things.
Very cool. Yeah, I think Anne used something like that today when working on the show notes. So cool. All right. Other things that you can do for the forum that the fans have provided, because fans are awesome, is if you're getting sick of the new DDO forum styles, you can use JJ's custom style sheet using stylish add-ons for Chrome or Firefox. So this converts all the text to white on a black background, no white on white or white on gray, creates a liquid layout, meaning the text expands and contracts in the browser sizing window. Stylish add-on for Chrome is available. It's something you have to go and download. And there's also one for Firefox. So if you have either of those two browsers, and I must say Chrome is my favorite, you can get that, and then you download JJ's style sheet, and it sort of auto-magically transforms the forums for you to be prettier and more useful. So I'm guessing it sort of hijacks the CSS style sheets and then reapplies different layers up on top. And so by the time it gets to your computer, it's sort of reformatted as a different page. Pretty neat.
Yeah, it's nice. I use it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just found out about it, so I probably will, because I don't care for the one. And yeah, it'd be really nice to expand it. I have a pretty big monitor, and the current forums are sort of scrunched down to this tiny little window. Sort of annoying. What else we got? Eris teaches us how to correct links on the old DDO forums. One of the annoying aspects of the DDO forum upgrade is that links to threads in old forums have been broken. Luckily, the thread ID number has stayed the same, so it's easy to correct the links using a little bit of address foo. The old links looked like this, forums.ddo.com/whatever. And as of now, that will take you to a 404 page, a lovely 404 page. But if you change the address to ddo.com/forum/whatever it was that it was before, it works fine. So you just have to replace the forums.ddo.com with ddo.com/forums, and you're good to go. And in fact, I did that with my request a build thread because all the links were broken, and that's like a thread of 100 and some odd links to various builds I did over the years, and all of them were broken and thus completely useless. So I fixed that up using this tip. Just when you're editing a post, there's a toggle that turns it to kind of source mode, and then you copy that, paste it into some text editing program, do a mass replace, and presto, you got new links to your stuff. So that worked pretty good for me. A lot of work to not be very useful with that builds thread. Although by the time the new enhancement system comes out, I have to say most of my builds will be pretty much kind of pointless because the feat requirements and enhancements change, and I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll take the most popular ones and try to update those, something like that. All right, well, that's about it for that. Let's see, Lightning Post. Let's talk a little bit about replacing your arms with D&D creatures. Since that was our topic, we asked people to chime in for that. So let's see what people had to say. Hennessy, the Halfling Assassin, he said that if I had beasts for limbs, Mempits for arms to be able to fly, and Orathons for legs, because if they got lopped off, I would at least have a laugh. They're my favorite beast to kill. Looking forward to the direction of your own legs. All right, what do people on Twitter have to say? Jeff Suppo says, gelatinous cube legs. Ooh, I was wondering if everybody would do those. Clean sweep wherever I go, and now the wife won't have to nag me to vacuum.
Oh, gosh. But you'll do the 40-yard dash in 3 days.
Yeah. I'm coming. Doing interesting martial arts that way. I would not want to battle somebody with gelatinous cube legs. It'd be trouble. Although I might finger of death them, because that's what I usually do to gelatinous cubes when I see them. All right,
Yeah.
Kaguri UOO says arms from fire and water elementals, legs from earth and air elementals, and change my name to Captain Planet. DDO Gaming says Scrag Trolls for legs, Undead Beholder for arm, and Purple Worm for the other arm. I thought it was going to go somewhere else with that. So, not count as a limb, sir. Grimward says Dragon Wings, and that is all. Dragon Wings would be nice.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But that's more of an add-on limb, you know. So, but that's okay. Brian on G Plus says, by process of elimination, I do not want my limbs to be banished, smote, disrupted, beheaded, or paralyzed. So, I think I'm sticking with either headless aberrations or red-damed monsters. Out of my love for the quest and the XP, I think I will replace my limbs with either the Shadow Council in the Shadow Crypt or Sinus. I can never pronounce that beholder's name. Chalthools. Yeah. I always call him Chud for short. The High Priest of Vol and Mentau from the Litany. Very nice. I like that. Quite spectacular. Thanks everybody for sending those in. Much appreciated. Let's see, how many is that? 1, 2, 3. I think that is enough. I think it's more than 5. So it qualifies for us coming up with some kind of a prize to send to one of these fine folks. So that will probably happen. Well, I got to remember to do it, and then I got to. Yeah, no, we'll send a prize to somebody. Also for Twitter, it's a little harder, but I guess we can contact those folks and try to get an address for them. So, all right. In other gaming news, Neverwinter has the worst exploit bug ever. Ask Jeff about it. Okay, what's the exploit in Neverwinter?
Well, they had to bring their servers down today, so I mean, all stop. The game was off.
Oh wow.
I don't know for how long. Okay, but anyway, they have an auction house, and you could bid negative whatever you wanted. And if the absolute value of your bid was greater than whatever the other bid, you won, and you got the item and the money.
Oh wow!
They paid you the negative money. So
that's fantastic.
The people would have come up with like $90,000 worth of astral diamonds.
Oh my god!
Because astral diamonds translate to real money.
Yeah.
So that's
that is a hardcore exploit. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow. No range checking.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed your Neverwinter economy for the 2 weeks you had it.
Oh boy! Somebody in QA is bringing donuts for life.
Yeah. Time to reboot.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No boundaries testing? Wow.
At least not on that. Yeah. I mean, that is one of the most common gaming bugs of all time. Is the no bounds checking on negative numbers? I've seen that in a lot of games, and it's kind of one of the standard things if you're trying to hack. You start putting in out of range numbers to see what you can get out of it. So, pretty classic one that. Wow. Yeah, cool. That was fun. We went and saw, just before the show actually today, Star Trek Into Darkness, and I thought it was awesome. I'm a pretty big original series Star Trek fan. I liked the reboot movie, and this was pretty glorious. It really paid a lot of tribute to classic Star Trek, but did its own thing. It's a lot more action-packed, really, than old school Star Trek is, but it was a lot of fun, and the action was good. So I loved it. Definitely recommended it.
This one is an and movie, because I wasn't really fond of the original, so I'm sorry to say it. Sorry. I wasn't.
But I like you. You didn't mean that, right?
I don't know what's wrong with
the
you,
original
Jeff.
Series. It just came
Everybody
out wrong,
was
right?
old. Oh my god. No, sorry. Everybody was old in the original. Oh.
They weren't then. They are now. I met Uhura.
They still were then. But anyways, I think it's because I'm very biased. I like Benedict Cumberbatch, so yeah, he was pretty much the Khan of my dreams. So there you go.
There you go. Didn't know she's been dreaming about Khan.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, dude.
If I had to dream about Khan, that would be it. So there you go.
Well, for me,
at least he doesn't have a mullet. God.
True, no mullet. But Ricardo Montalban.
They didn't know it was a mullet back then.
No.
It looked cool then. They didn't know it was a mullet.
Studley.
Yeah, mullet awareness didn't happen until about 5 years after that movie.
Yeah, I knew. I started to get these emails from my friend about mullets. I'm like, what are they talking about? I don't have any fish. And they're like, you need to go to mullet.com, Siegfried. I'm like, oh, my hairstyle's become a cultural phenomenon. Sigh. And not a popular one, mind you. Well, I had a cool mullet. It was not too bad. Not a country style one.
This is a testament for my love for you. I married you when you had a mullet.
I know, she did.
And yet she doesn't like
awesome.
Star Trek. And yet she doesn't like the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
I think Anne might need a refresher in judgment.
But she was Next Generation age, right? I mean, she's a generation
I was
back,
Next Generation. I was middle school when Next Generation came out, and I recorded that one on, on my VHS. So there.
I guess that makes sense. It would have been like how I feel about. It would have been like how I feel like about Gilligan's Island or something, right? Old, really old, before your time, having to watch it anyway.
Yeah. You're like, why do they still have this on TV?
What year did the original Star Trek come out?
1966, I think, and 7?
Yes. Yeah, before my birth. Thank you.
I mean, it was in reruns when I saw it, too, but it was on TV all the time when I was a kid. Yes, I enjoyed it. Well, and I have to say, the current Spock they have, he does a fantastic job being Spock. He really lives up to the Leonard Nimoy tradition. And that's, I love Spock. He was my favorite character. And so for somebody to kind of satisfy my Spock character thing, yeah, he really does the job. So he's amazing.
Fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. And if you haven't seen the one with Leonard Nimoy and the new guy doing some Audi commercial or something, you really have to check it out. It's hilarious and wonderful. So, geek love, Descent into Darkness.
All right, speaking of all the original Star Trek guys getting old and Leonard Nimoy, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but he has the most incredible expanding nostrils in the history of humanity. I think you could park an old school shuttle in each side. I swear, it's like he's wearing like elongated, I don't even know what they are, half coconuts on either side. He's got the biggest nostrils in creation.
Did you measure them by the millimeter?
You don't have to. Once you've noticed it, you can't stop staring. It drags your eyes to it.
I haven't spotted that yet, but now I guarantee the next time I watch that, that'll be all I'll see from now on.
If it's raining, you want to be under Leonard Nimoy's nose.
Oh dear. Let's see, our final thought for today. That would have been a good one to go out on, but we do have one more thing. The Defiance developer Triton Worlds has been hit with layoffs. Trion Worlds has laid off a number of its employees, including Kotaku's anonymous source, reportedly an insider at Trion Worlds. These layoffs affect about 70% of the company, though it's not exactly known how many people have lost their jobs. So that's too bad. If you're out there from Trion, I'm sure they've done a number of pretty good games. So I'm sure the folks that were there have credentials enough to head out to other gaming pastures and find good jobs. So at least I hope so. And we have been enjoying the Defiance game that they make. It's pretty fun. And they have great customer service, so it's kind of sad to see them crunch down like that. But probably just don't have another upcoming project, so that's what happens. Anybody got any other thoughts before we roll out for the day? We have reached the end of the show.
No, my mind is now filled with images of Leonard Nimoy's nostrils. I'm going to have to do something about that.
You must detoxify. All right. Well,
my only suggestion is go watch the new Star Trek movie. You'll like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess somebody could not like it, but then they suck. So that's all I have to say. So that's it for today's show. Big thanks to Anna Jeff and to DDOcast contributors I'm sorry, not Jeff Hanna, but Shamgar and Ludwig Beethoven for all the stuff that they send us to the show. Much appreciated, guys. Our many fine listeners in the chat room and friends of DDOcast out there in Internet land, and to Turbine and Wizards for making cool games we like to play. If you want to be a part of the show or just say hi, you can call us at 707-DDOcast or email us at ddocast@gmail.com. Until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chess level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to gaze at the nostrils.